Good evening, or I'm sorry, good morning. My name is John Gregory Presco, and I'm the president of Royal Rosamond Press, a newspaper for the arts. This morning I'm going to be making a call for a female author to come forth and complete my autobiography in some fashion, either as a co-author or to be the sole author who will interview me and look at material that I've gathered and publish her book. And the emphasis is on her because I'm up against women who have launched a campaign against the truth, against my late sister, the world-famous artist Christine Rosamond Benton. These women have launched a campaign against me to destroy my credibility, actually to drive me mad, and hopefully maybe I'll take my life. I know that seems crazy, but it's not. When you read Tom Snyder's When You Close Your Eyes, it really, you'll see that this book is Garth Benton's book, the ex-husband of my late sister, Christine Rosamond Benton. And the divorce was just finalized when my sister drowned in 1994 under mysterious circumstances. What they say happened could not have happened. And I've proven that beyond a shadow of a doubt. So my daughter was recruited, lured away from me, disappeared from my life after coming into my life in the year 2001. She was 16. I didn't know I had a daughter. So I had a dream 2 weeks before her mother actually called me. But she had been to the gallery before they contacted me, and this mother knew who my sister was and finally found her after there was an ad put up on the on Christine Rosamond's webpage for people who knew my sister to come forward and contribute to the book. But what they were really looking for was the people who had commissioned Christine to do their portraits, or one person actually commissioned Christine to do a portrait of her monkey. And what they wanted to do was purchase that artwork and make like 3,000 prints, lithographs from them. They already got a court order to apply Christine's seal, like her, instead of her signature, because she's dead. They got a court seal, so they would have these people call, say, "Oh yes, I really love Christine's artwork. I had her do my portrait." They go, "Oh really? You got that portrait?" "Oh yes, hanging on my wall." "Oh, would you like to sell it?" "Well, maybe." Priscilla Presley bought Christine's painting, not a print, the original artwork, and they asked for it. They tried to get that painting so they can make 3,000 prints and sell them for $500 each, depending on how hot Rosamond's artwork got, because she died. And this is the great evil travesty. He said a lot of people believed that her artwork would go up and up and up, and now that she was dead. And so a lot of outsiders were banking on that. And the court-appointed executor, Sidney Morris, he thought that was going to happen. And he okayed the writing of the biography and the making of a movie. There are a couple of scripts out there. On last Christmas, I talked with my niece Shannon, who was an adult when Christine died. She was 24, and Drew, her half sister, was 9, and she was crying. She says, "I'm reading the script. I can't believe what they're saying about my mother." And I told her, I said, "Don't read the book because it put me in therapy." And tomorrow I'm going to be seeing my therapist again after we ended allotted sessions. I read something that was put up on the Rosemont Publishing website that is so disturbing, so outrageous, such a betrayal of Christine's trust by people who work for her, who ended up being sold, the family legacy, and Stacy Pro calls herself the caretaker. So I was compelled to take over. Well, no, her friend Jackie Belford tried to buy everything and pay off the creditors and pay the tax thing. A couple weeks after Christine was dead, she was supposed to be her good friend and manager of the gallery. They went to high school together. Stacy and Jackie went to high school together. So I pretty much busted Jackie's butt, but she's saying, "Oh, me and Christine has, a lot in common. We both had abusive fathers." And she's telling me that Shannon's going to destroy the estate, and she's made an offer. I said, "Excuse me. You're saying that your father abused you?" I said, "Well, let's come on by. We'll get in the car, and we'll go raid his garage. Does he have a bass boat in there? Can we just start taking stuff out of your father's garage because he sexually abused you?" She told me that, "I'm glad Vic is not going to be getting his prints back." That's what Christine and I had in common. We were sexually abused by fathers. Oh, wow. So you want a bonus? Christine didn't leave you in her will, did she? Or her ex-husband. Well, she left him $1. So I got to see my therapist. I don't have to. I want to. And preparing what I'm going to say, what we're going to talk about, there's a pre-meeting. As I said, I don't have any solutions. There's no remedy. Christine's program is being done in AA, is done posthumously in this website. So we don't do that in AA. I got 34 years of recovery. And we don't honor dead drunks. We only honor the newcomer that walks in the door. And a lot of times they're under the influence. So there it is, 34 years of sobriety. And I told the judge and the executor, I said, "Don't sell my recovery program to outsiders to make money off of it. You get power, over me and anybody else who opposes them, like my niece." And they did. He said, "Oh, if they want to use Christine's sobriety in AA to make movies, that's fine. Well, how about using abused children? Oh, sure. If they want to talk about the sexual abuse that you and your siblings had, and the physical abuse and the food abuse. If they want to talk about that, that's fine. You know, they're entitled to make money by talking about this, invading your privacy. In fact, we want them to make money off the suffering of children. We think that's just perfect. That's just fine. I don't see why you got a problem. Well, how would you like it? If you had somebody famous in your family, and I started writing about the alleged sex abuse that you had, Mr. Sidney Morris. Weren't you raped as a child? Or is that just a rumor? Is that just a rumor, Mr. Morris? Buck, Robert Buck, and Morris and Rose and Heisinger law firm of Carmel. There's no evidence. These people have no evidence that there was sexual raping of children. I mean, where'd they get that from? Who told them that? They're outsiders. They didn't grow up. They weren't abused. See, when you look at self-help books, which I started in 1992, they're all written by the victims, the people that suffered abuse, or people who were alcoholic and drug addicts, like Carrie Fisher, who's our kin, and they're talking about their experience and how they got sober, which I did. I just showed you I have 34 years. That's the miracle. That's the book that should have been written. Christine drowned on her first sober birthday. So this is what I read that is going to cause me to go talk with my therapist again. Though Christine had stopped meditations, Garth continued to encourage her to dig into her subconscious. He believed that there was unexamined trauma that needed her attention. As if on cue, the universe cooperated, and Christine's father, Vic, who had left the family when Christine was 11 years old, returned to reacquaint himself with his daughter. Within months, Vic molested a teenage girl. The moment that Christine heard of the attack, she knew that this was not the first time Vic had transgressed. Childhood memories of being violated came flooding back to her. This epiphany was too much for Christine. Aware that she had a problem with alcohol, she'd been abstaining throughout her marriage to Garth. But now she needed an anesthetic and started drinking with a vengeance. She also decided that all men were capable of abusing their daughters, and fearing that Garth might hurt their 7-year-old daughter, Drew, she asked him for a divorce. Absolutely outrageous. When you examine this, and I hope an attorney takes my case, from who did Christine hear that her father allegedly molested a teenager? What's the name of the teenager? How come we don't hear that? There's no proof. There was no charges filed. There was no police report made from the teenage girl and her parents if she was underage. There should have been some kind of police report made. Stacey Pro is talking about a crime. Well, actually, Julie Lynch is, who was a hired ghostwriter by Stacy Perot, as is Tom Snyder. They're hired ghostwriters. They're members of the family. They did, they weren't in Christine's confidence. She didn't know them. But they're saying Christine heard that her father had molested a teenager. Heard. From who? Who? Who did she hear this from? Vicky? Presco? Mark Presco? Rosemary? Who? My mother? Our mother? Who did she hear this from? And how come there's no one saying, well, wait a minute, that's a crime? Where is this teenager? Maybe she needs help. Maybe we should try to find her and offer her our condolences. Maybe she needs to be in treatment. Maybe we should find her, have a mercy search for her. Well, they say that they found Christine's kindergarten teacher, who testified that she was doing amazing artwork in a closet that was perfect in detail. I mean, she had an amazing talent that Rosemary forbid her to paint at home because she only wanted me to become a famous artist. This isn't the same, discussion of what? What am I reading here? Abused children. They're talking about abused children in my family, who are my siblings. Why do they get to talk about this? How is this going to increase interest in Rosamond's art, which was what Sidney Morris said in legal terms? And I'll offer that to the woman that comes forward to write this book, because I'm just appalled. I'm too close to it. Way too close to it. I get distracted and emotionally blown up, especially when my daughter was dragged into this. So this is the other reason I'm going back into therapy, because I overlooked this. Every time I open this book, I read it in increments because I can't read it all at once. It's just too much. You'll see all members of my family but me. That's because I took this photograph. And look at the expression on Christine and Mark's face. They've got their hands to their mouth. Now, this, if you understand about body language, they're nervous because I'm allowed to hold Big Vic Presco's camera. He's given me some power and authority. I'm not a subject. He's a Leo, King Victor. See? And my siblings will go, oh my gosh, John Gregory's got the camera. He's got the man's camera, the big daddy's camera. And he's taking a picture. Wow. He's got power. See, they got their fingers in their mouth. This is mine. This is my work of art. I took this picture. And Shannon was very upset after Vicky died to find her papers where she was giving Stacy Perot family photographs and being cooperative in contributing to this book. And she wasn't supposed to be doing that, according to the legal matter, because, Shannon Rosemont had to get an attorney to fight these people and get Garth dismissed as an executor because Stacy Perot's best friend in high school, Jackie Belford, dropped out as the second unnamed executor and nominated Garth Benton, the ex-husband, and Vicky Presco did the same. And they both filed affidavits against Shannon Rosemont, who they accused of stealing from her mother's house while she lived there. Well, she wasn't supposed to be there. They set her up. They tried to get me to stay and live there, guard her from stealing. And I said, I'm not going to guard my niece from stealing. She just inherited. She's an adult heir. And I pointed to a video camera. I says, you as the executor, you should take this camera and film everything in the house, open up the drawers, open up the closets, go out in the garage and film all the prints and get it, and give that to an attorney. She turned out to be working with an attorney. But she said, well, if you know what, you just do it yourself, you big idea man. And I left Christine's house. We were there after the funeral. We weren't even supposed to be there. So this is what they say right here, right next to this photograph. And this is what these people need to be sued. They need to be denigrated. Their credibility utterly destroyed. The family began to drift as well, though in separate directions. A vile darkness was falling on the Prescos, much of it still unmentioned today. Yet nothing seemed able to halt its course, except perhaps the resilience of the children themselves. Talking about child abuse. And somehow we've overcome child abuse by being resilient in some manner. We were thrown up against the wall real hard by our parents, and we crumpled to the floor, but we got back up. Didn't hurt for very long. We forgot all about it. Thank goodness we got Stacy Perot and Tom Snyder and the Superior Court of Monterey and Judge Richard M. Silver to give these people our family history to carry on forever. They're the caretakers of everything, not only art, but of our memories and our photographs and our alleged tales of being abused as children. It doesn't belong to the family anymore. It belongs to outsiders who can say just about anything they want. And there's another biography out there, and there's another movie script, but guess what? It didn't sell. The book was a flop, but yet they got this site and they continue to bring up allegations where allegedly Christina told somebody that she believes all fathers are capable of incesting their daughters. Therefore, she divorced Garth Benton. Totally an outrage beyond belief. What this does to her reputation, to art, to her people viewing her mental well-being, is going to say, is that crazy or what? And all through this book, Christine's state of mind, her mental well-being is questioned. Accounts of her being drunk and violent are all through this book. To go after the main subject of a biography, and the only reason we're hearing about child abuse is because Christine Rosamond Benton was a world famous artist. So that becomes the soapbox for outsiders to make all these alleged allegations of child abuse. I'm going to end with a picture of Shannon and Sion. This is the garden child, and I put this, his painting Christine did, and that's Shannon. It's so beautiful. They're both so lost. I'm the head of the family that is disintegrated. Our family doesn't exist. It's been sold to outsiders. We got to make accusations of child abuse to sell artwork and make money. That the proceeds from the movie is not going to Shannon. And here's my grandson. See, this is my family. And we've been shoved aside. And Stacy Perot is like the caretaker mommy from hell. You know, this is an incredible movie. The Hand That Rocks the Cradle. This is what it's like. DuMornay plays this nanny that can't have a child and goes after this family and their child. This is what's going on. So I want a woman to come forward, and she can be hopefully steeped in codependency knowledge. You know, maybe she'll be recovered in recovered alcoholic, a sister. Maybe she's a woman that is just as outraged as I am, and wants to get revenge, not just revenge for me, but revenge against anybody who would use children like this. So you can contact me at my email, braskewitz@yahoo.com, BRASKEWITZ@yahoo.com. I'm inspired to make this appeal for an author because there's got to be some kind of remedy. And for several weeks now, I've been having my pre-discussion with my therapist, looking for some remedy. Because that's what therapy is. You discuss what's going on, and then you do some kind of remedy. Speaking out and talking about what's going on is a recognized way for people to resolve personal and family issues. Well, we don't have access to this forum anymore. An outsider was sold our programs of recovery, our therapy, our family history, the history of our children, and that's it. I'm going to end this and answer that thing. Hello? Hello?
Hi, my name is Tiffany. I'm a benefit coordinator for Medicare recipients. Our record shows you're currently enrolled in Medicare. Is that correct?